Hey Dorian, I wanted to respond to your question about procrastination and the difference between procrastinating because we don't want to do it because it'll make us feel bad, like calling an unhappy client, and procrastinating just because we're lazy, because we just don't feel like doing it because it doesn't seem like much fun. So when I heard the word lazy, I had a response, which is that lazy doesn't really tell me anything except that it's a judgment. That somehow to be lazy is a bad thing, but it doesn't actually tell me what's going on. So in that sense, I think lazy is kind of one of these words that we actually need to push aside and explore underneath. So do you mean by lazy, I don't do things that I would rather not do, or I tend to avoid doing things that I would tend to avoid? If so, that's kind of the definition of everybody, right? None of us wants to do things that we don't want to do. Or is there a more general, deeper meaning of lazy, like, I don't want to do anything. If I had my way, I would just sit around and watch TV and do absolutely nothing. I only get up and hustle and work because I need to make money. So if it's the first one, I'm lazy, I don't like doing things I don't like to do, well, that's true of everyone. So then the question becomes, why don't you like to do them? And what can you do about it? So some things we get to not do, right? We can just say, you know what, I've been doing this out of habit, I'm doing this because I was told I have to do it, but if I don't do it, nothing bad happens. Other things that we have to do, that we think we have to do, we could delegate to somebody else and say, well, I'll get someone to help me with this, I'll pay somebody, or maybe I can't pay somebody yet, but I'm going to work to get to a position where I can, in which case that moves into that category of I don't want to do it, but I got to do it. And we'll talk about that in a second. Or maybe it's something that we don't like doing, again, because of the way it makes us feel. It may not be obvious. So let me give you an example. I really hate doing any sort of bookkeeping, accounting, or taxes. My wife has to beg me. It's now last day of January. When are we going to start looking at the taxes? I just don't want it. To me, that feels like what you're talking about when you say lazy. Like, I just don't want it. I'd rather go running. I'd rather play guitar. I'd rather putter in the garden. I'd rather update the apps on my iPhone. I would rather do anything than sit down with that. And it really is about my relationship with money. It's about fear of what I'm going to find. And there's three things I could find. I could find out I don't have enough money, in which case I can go into all sorts of horrible conniptions about how I'm unworthy, how I'm in such a position where I should be making money, but I'm not. What's wrong with me? Or I could be in a position of I have exactly enough money, in which case I then say, well, maybe it's not enough. Maybe I should be working harder. Maybe I should be making more. Or maybe I'm making too much and I'm being greedy. Or if I'm making like a lot and I've got a lot in the bank account, then I can have a whole other conversation. The point is, because I have given money potency over my self-definition, over how I feel about myself, then anything I do around money is going to have that feeling. I could look at somebody else's finances and it would be no problem. It'd be easy. I'm pretty good with math. I could happily go through and I could help a client go through their numbers and look at it objectively. The point is, what seems like something I don't like to do actually has deeper roots in that avoidance. So what do you do when there's something you really don't like to do, but you got to get it done? And so that's the sort of thing you're procrastinating. Well, then I would use a couple of techniques. One is to really ask yourself, why am I doing this? Why does it have to get done? And if there's no one else around to do it, or I can't afford anyone else to do it, why does it have to get done? Then why do I have to do it? And this is a couple of questions that come from a book called Instant Influence by Michael Pantalon. And the first question is, why might you do it? So let's say I have to clean my office, and I don't want to clean my office, and the shit is piling up, and I'm having trouble finding things, and then finally I say, okay, I better clean my office. So why? And then I procrastinate, right? I don't do it for 3 more days. So when I come back to it, I'll say, why do I want to clean my office? And I'll make a list. I'll write it down. I want to be able to find things. I want to make videos and not have piles of things in every corner feeling embarrassed about them, so I don't have to go on super zoom so that all you can see is like the 2 inches around my face. I would like to be peaceful in my office, and all this clutter is keeping, whatever the reasons are. And then I'll ask myself, on a scale of 1 to 10, How ready am I to clean my office? 1, not ready at all. 10, totally ready. Let's say I sit and I think honestly for a second. I say, okay, you know what? I'm at a 4. I'm not really ready, but I'm totally not opposed to it either. Then I'll ask myself the kicker question. Why wasn't that number lower? And that will force me to really get in touch with my motivation. And in my experience, when I answer that question in writing, it wasn't lower because I'm tired of the way I feel. I feel exhausted at the end of the day being in a mess. I'm tired of having to look for things. I'm tired of some things getting messed up and bills not getting paid and client work not even gotten to because it's on a pile somewhere and it's not, I'm relying on all these visual cues to remind me what to do rather than having a clutter-free environment and relying on systems. By that time, by the time I've written out 3 or 4 of those, I'm like, all right, let's go do it. And at that point, I can put on nice music. I can promise myself a treat afterwards. I can do all sorts of little manipulations. But now I'm in touch with a motivation that overrides the negative feeling about that particular activity. So the last thing is, what if it's like absolute laziness? Like I just want to sit on the couch and do nothing. Well, I was a school teacher for many, many years, and I never knew a kindergartner who had that problem. I knew lots of 8th graders who had that problem. I knew a lot of high school kids who had that problem, and most of the college students I taught had that problem most of the time. They just wanted to lie around and do nothing. So this is not part of our human nature. It's not part of our birthright. You watch little kids, all they want to do is run around and exercise. I just posted a video yesterday to YouTube. I went out to an open mic night and videotaped my 17-year-old daughter playing a song. Posted it. Her old teacher from nursery school posted, that's amazing. And she remembers my daughter from when they had to sit on their mats, lie down on their mats for quiet time, and my daughter just wanted to do like somersaults and ballet. And I was laughing, remembering that. Like, that's natural for kids to move, to be active, to do stuff. Can I help? Can I do this? So the question is, if we've attained a place of kind of global laziness, I would look for a root cause of that. Is it depression? Is it that we're in the wrong job? Is it that we're fueling ourselves poorly? We've gotten poor health because of our diet, because of our lack of connection to nature, because of our lack of exercise. Being lazy globally is a sign of disconnection, of illness, of dis-ease in the body, and something to be taken care of. Dorian, I hope that helps. If you have other questions, please post them. Finally, if folks are interested, I am offering a time mastery course. There's a link below this video if you're seeing it on YouTube, where you can check it out, and I'd be happy for you to join me if you think it'd be valuable. Take care.